So hello everyone. So as you can see on the slide, the session is basically to make you feel cracking CSAT is actually easy. So there are two parts to CSAT paper, right? One is the reading comprehension, the other one is non-RC questions. So the reading comprehension strategy will be shared in a different video. So I just want to make sure you look at all the mathematics part in a very confident manner, because many of you have asked me in that Google Forms to give you some clarity on the approach required for CSAT. Because the videos that you find on the internet, it's all about problem solving, one math area after the other. Well, I did not clear CSAT being too good at mathematics, right? And even in the last year's 2024 CSAT question paper, I'll point out to you at least there are 20 questions where you can solve without the knowledge of permutation combination, without the knowledge of squares, cubes, all of that. You don't need to know work done and time taken. You don't have to know complex ideas about probability, nothing. You don't need any maths knowledge. All you need to know is simply addition, subtraction, division, multiplication. If you only know that, and if you know how to imagine a problem, you can actually get 20 questions right. That's what I'm going to prove to you in the next 20 questions that I'm going to take up and solve out of the 80 questions. Right? See, out of the 80 questions in 2024, around 22 to 24 questions are reading comprehension. So how do you get them right? What do you need to approach reading comprehension will be shared in the very next video that I'll be uploading. But the objective of today's video is simply to make you understand that despite not being very good with maths, right? And I believe CSAT is more like an aptitude that you already have. I don't even believe that it is easy to develop that aptitude in a certain number of sessions. It's because you may be exposed to a certain problem, and to solve that certain problem your faculty may be using a certain methodology and formula and all of that, but there is no assurance that the same problem is going to repeat on the day of the exam. Only if UPSC frames the question in such a way that you are not able to identify that this particular idea, concept is what is to be used, you will not be able to get that mathematical question right. Right? So that's why, but I'm repeating it to you that you don't even have to be worried that you are not able to acquire the competency in all those areas. That's fine. That's why we have this session. It's just to prove to you that with addition, subtraction, division, multiplication, you can get 20 questions right. All you need to do is just approach the questions with some confidence, right? And learn to solve problems manually. You don't even have to know a single formula for all these 20 questions. Right? You only need to have persistence, patience, just moving from one logical step to the other logical step. Just with that, I'm very sure you can get these 20 questions right. And this is what is going to help you get at least 40 to 50 marks in the upcoming year CSAT paper. Because I feel, let's think about once why UPSC has the CSAT paper. UPSC simply doesn't want people who are only good with aptitude. Right? If that is the case, all IITians can simply get all the maths questions right and they'll be able to crack CSAT. Okay, so UPSC's purpose in math questions, in mathematics areas, is not to make the question paper unsolvable. You need to learn all those math and formula and all that. That's not UPSC's purpose. Right? The objective is to make sure that a lot of questions are made difficult, but at the same time there are easy questions as well. And you only need to spot those easy questions on the day of the examination. Alright, so that's why I believe your effectiveness in CSAT preparation can be better if you actually prepare from solving full question papers of previous years, rather than taking only ratio, proportion and working 100 questions on that. Right? I would say that instead of doing that, you take a full question paper and try to identify the 20 questions every year which are possible to attempt. That skill of identification will be more useful and helpful for you in the upcoming prelims than expertise and mastery in each and every minute areas. How many areas will you master? Alright. So how do you do that? We'll start with this session onwards. Right? Maybe we'll take up 2 or 3 years of question paper to infuse that confidence in you that it's actually crackable, it's actually workable. If only you can assure me that you can get just 15 questions from reading comprehension right. Not even 15, even 12 questions from RC if you can get it right. These 20 questions can be the game changer in helping you crack prelims. Alright, so let's get into the session and I'll just walk you through it. And this is going to be a live session where I'll even show you how I think and how I approach a problem, why I wouldn't desist from working out manually even if it takes 4 or 5 minutes. right? Do not be scared about the time that's going to be taken for problems that deserve your time. Understand, even though there are 80 questions asked, you have 120 minutes. Don't divide 120 minutes by 80 questions and assume that you have 1.5 minutes per question. That's not the way to think, because you cannot get all 80 questions are not of the same standard, right? At the max you can attempt 40 to 45 questions, so which means that you actually can spend around 3 minutes per question. And there are some questions where even in 1 or 2 minutes you'll get the answer right. So it means that there are some questions where you can even spend up to 4 minutes. So don't start feeling nervous, don't panic just because a question is consuming a lot of time. You will be able to compensate for that by within a minute. You will get some questions right and you will be able to compensate for that. Alright, why I'm saying this is, I believe CSAT is cracked by having a strong emotional control, by going on. If you know that logically you're going in the right manner, just keep going on even if it takes time. Alright, and that needs a lot of courage, because the minute you start feeling nervous on the day of your CSAT exam, the examination is over. Even simple questions will appear complex to you. Your mind will not work in a cool manner, and without that coolness, without that stillness that is required, problem solving becomes problematic. Alright, so that's why let me show to you how you can start your practice with respect to approaching CSAT paper in the upcoming days. Alright, so let's start with 2024 question paper. Let's start our session with 2024 question paper. And in this 2024 question paper, the first 4 questions are reading comprehension. Okay, so up to 4th question, it's just simply RC. 5th question, it's mathematics. So the question is, what is the least possible number of cuts required to cut a cube into 64 identical pieces? I start visualizing a cube, right? Every problem that I encounter, I don't immediately think in terms of what formula to use. I start visualizing. Without formula, can I just understand what is the problem? So I take a cube and I think of cutting it into different parts, right? Maybe first cut, second cut, I get 4 parts. Maybe I cut one in between in a horizontal manner, I get 8 parts, right? Okay, now each part I have to cut again. It's becoming complex, right? Maybe there could be a combination of permutation formula which can be used here. I don't really care about it, because maybe I'm weak in that area. If you're good with that, fine, you get one bonanza, one more point. But let's just move on, because I feel underconfident when it comes to this particular question, right? Question number 6. In the expression 5 star, 4 star, 3 star, 2 star, 1, star is chosen from operators plus, minus, multiplication, each at most 2 times. What is the smallest non-negative value of the expression? Seems difficult, okay, because there are so many conditions here. Each asterisk can be either plus or minus, but at the maximum each operator can be used twice, right? It seems complex because so many possibilities are there, right? So let's say I don't want to waste time in this. I move on. Okay, 7th is work done. I know I'm weak in that. Let me leave that. 8th is also work done. Okay, I again don't have confidence in that area, so let me skip that. 9th, it's too much about the properties of numbers. 1 square into 2 power 4 into 3 power 6 into 25 power 50. Maybe there could be some formulaic way of getting all of these things right. I just don't know how to do that. So let me leave the 9th question as well. So now I come to the 10th question, right? When I look at the 10th question, you should understand what my state of mind is going to be. If I'm not good with reading comprehension, the first 4 questions I might not be sure about what I have chosen. If I'm not sure about 4 questions, if I feel that I have not been able to really arrive at the right reading comprehension answer, when I approach all these questions, when I think that all the first 9 questions are not, I'm not confident about, slowly a nervousness starts coming in. But if only I can get those 4 reading comprehension questions perfectly right, my confidence level stays up, right? So that's why I believe that you need to be proficient to a decent level in both reading comprehension and in mathematics. Just expertise in one area cannot actually help you sail through this exam. Alright, so now coming to the 10th question. Okay, I am not nervous, I am not shaking or shivering. I look at the 10th question and I feel it's an easy question. Why? On January 1st of 23, a person saved rupees 1. On the next day, he saved 2 rupees more than the previous day, which is basically on the 2nd of January, he saves 3 rupees. And on 3rd of January, he saved 2 more than the previous day, which means he saved 5 rupees. And it just goes on, right? At the end of which date was his total savings a perfect square as well as a perfect cube. Alright, basically they are just asking you a person keeps on saving for a certain number of days. On what particular day is the total sum of all his savings? It should be both a perfect square as well as perfect cube. Let's forget all this perfect square, perfect cube and all of that for a moment. Let's look at the options. It's only 7th January, 8th January and 9th January, which means it's close by days, right? Month starts from January 1st, you have January 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. Immediately you come to the last option itself. Alright, but if the same question would have been 27th January, 28th January, 29th January, I would have actually desisted from approaching this particular question. I would have probably skipped this question. But since the dates are close by, I don't feel hesitant in working out manually the answer for this question. I feel that maybe if I spend some time, maybe 2 or 3 minutes, I may even get an answer right. So let's try it out. So you see January 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. So these are the options given here. Let me mark it till there. Right? You need to simply just manually work it out. On January 1st, a person saved 1 rupee. January 2nd, he saved 2 rupees more than that. So 3 rupees, so 5 rupees, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15 and 17. So the question, so going by the option given. So let me check out 7th January. How much is the total sum as on 7th January? So 13 plus 11, 24, 33, 40, 45, 48, 49, right? 49 rupees. Is it a perfect cube? No. Is it a perfect square? Yes. 7 into 7 is 49, right? But it's not a perfect cube. So that's not fitting the criteria. But on the 8th of January, 15 rupees more, which means 64 rupees. Is it a perfect square? Yes. 8 into 8 is 64. Is it a perfect cube? Yes. 4 into 4 into 4, 64. That's all. Right? So it's just simple multiplication. You got an answer right. I don't think it has taken me more than 1 minute. 1 minute to read and understand the question, 1 minute to get it right. Right? So the correct answer for this question would be 8th January of 2023. Fine. We have got one question right. Let's just move on to the next question. So 1 numericals got right. So let's move on. The next numerical question would be somewhere in 14th question. No, sorry, 15th. Right? 15th question seems to be quite difficult because it talks about 222 to the power of 333. See, unless you know about how to work with these powers, 333 should be separated into 300 plus 3. This should be 333 power 222 should be separated as 333 to the power of 200 plus 2. Okay, very difficult. Let me just leave this question. Let's assume that I am not good with that. I'll leave that. Next question seems to be manageable. 16th question. What percent of water must be mixed with honey so as to gain 20% by selling the mixture at the cost price of honey? It's simply, I think it's just about subtraction, percentage, basic mathematics, right? So I think it's going to be an easy question. So with that logic, now let me start working it out. The question is simple because whenever you don't have any numbers given as such, I always start working out my problem assuming a quantity of 100. Right? Whenever a particular quantum of number is not given, right? Start your operations with 100 as a base, right? In many questions, this kind of approach will come to your rescue. I'll tell you how. Look at question number 16. So it says that you have purchased a quantity of honey, right? And let's say the cost price is 100 rupees. You have purchased honey, and now you are going to sell it. So what I'm trying to say is you have to make a profit of 20 rupees. While you still sell it at the same cost price. So which means that selling price is also 100, but you cannot sell the entire quantity. If you sell the entire quantity you brought for 100 rupees, now you're selling it at 100 rupees, so no point of doing this transaction, correct? Then how do you get 20 rupees profit? For the same quantum, remove 20% of honey from that. Now you have 80% of whatever honey you have purchased, and 80% of honey is costing you only 80 rupees, but you are selling it at 100 rupees, so which means there is a 20 rupees profit. So if you have 80% honey, you need to mix it, dilute it with 20%. The rest of the honey should be diluted as water, right? That's all. It's simple. 20% is the correct answer. You just need to know how to draw this diagram, how to imagine this problem. Imagination is what UPSC is testing here. It's not testing you with respect to all this formula and all of that, right? Are you able to calmly visualize this entire problem that you have before you? It's simple. It's not so difficult. Right. Now looking at 17th question, what is the rightmost digit preceding the zeros in the value of 30 power 30? Okay, I again leave it. Anything that's beyond my mathematical processing ability, I would just leave that question unattempted, right? Let me look at the 18th question. 421 and 427 when divided by the same number leaves the same remainder 1. Okay, which means that 421 when you divide by some number it leaves a remainder of 1, which means that 420 was exactly divisible by x, right? Correct. So 420 was exactly divisible, that is why you have a remainder of 1. All right, so it could be any number here. And similarly 427 when you divide by that same number, that also leaves a remainder of 1. Okay, so it means that 426 was perfectly divisible. So 420 and 426 are perfectly divisible. Look at the difference between these two numbers. It's 6. If only 6 can divide 420 perfectly, it is for sure it can divide 426 also perfectly, right? Because the difference is 6. You see 6 is divisible by 6, 12 is divisible, 18 is divisible. So the gap between every number is 6. So similarly 420, if this is going to be divisible, 426 will also be divisible, correct? So yes, so 6 is perfectly divisible, right? Okay, look at the question. 421 and 427 when divided by the same number leave the same remainder 1. Fine, 6 is one number that can divide. How many numbers can be used as a divisor in order to get the same remainder 1? Right, so we have a question here. If only the options were given 6 numbers, 7 numbers, 8 numbers, 9 numbers, I would probably leave the question unattempted, because I cannot go and manually figure out each and every dividing number perfectly, right? But the options given are just 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I just need to maximum work out and find out another 3 more numbers. Already I have found out 6. All I need to find out is another 3 more numbers, right? So let me see how many numbers would fit into this category. Again, it's the same logic. The question says how many numbers can be used in order to get the same remainder 1. So 420 and 426, what all other numbers can possibly divide? Let's have a look at that. It cannot be more than 6, correct? Because if it is more than 6, let's say 7, if 420 is divisible by 7, the next number would be 427 and not 426. So it is so easy now to visualize that nothing more than 6 is possible in the answer. Can it be 5? No, it cannot be 5. It's because 5 can divide 420, 5 cannot divide 426 perfectly. So 5 is eliminated. Can it be 4? Even 4 cannot fit in, because if 4 can divide 420 perfectly, the next number that 4 can divide would be 424. The next number 4 can divide would be 428 and not 426. So 4 is eliminated. What about 3? Yes, 3 can do that, because 3, 420 and 426, you have a gap of 6, right? Let's see if 3 can divide 420. Yes, 3 1s are 3, 3 4s are 12, 140, and this would be 142. So 6 can perfectly leave a remainder of 1. 3 can leave a perfect remainder of 1. Similarly, 2 can also leave a remainder of 1, right? So how many numbers can be used as a divisor in order to get the same remainder 1? So that's all, we have got the answer. So 3 is the right answer, right? So probably it has taken me 3 to 4 minutes, but I am assured of one answer for this question, correct? So you only need to calmly reflect, calmly think that this is not a difficult question, because the question says 421 and 427 when they are divided by the same number leave the remainder 1. Just that you have to understand how reminders are obtained, correct? If it is 7, you divide it by 2, 2 3s are 6, that leaves with a remainder of 1, correct? So this small idea, this is I think 4th standard or 5th standard idea. If only you have this idea, you can get this answer right. So you only need to know that the very number before that is perfectly divisible by any number, right? So 420 is perfectly divisible by that number, 426 is also perfectly divisible by that number, and the gap between the two is 6. So I'll start checking it out with 6, correct? So this is the way how you actually start solving this question. As you can see, no formula or nothing is required. You only need to visualize again the problem that is there before you. All right, so we move on to the next question. So I have got 16th question right, I have got 18th question correct. Now look at question number 19. So it talks about two cans, a can X containing 399 liters of petrol, a can Y containing 532 liters of petrol diesel. They are to be bottled in bottles of equal size, so that whole of petrol and diesel would be separately bottled. Okay. The bottle capacity in terms of liters is an integer. How many different bottle sizes are possible? It means that you can take a bottle of, let's say, 6 liters, a next bottle of say 7 liters, next bottle of say 8 liters. Alright, so all 399 liters should be perfectly filled in multiples of 6 liter bottles, and it's the same 6 liter bottle you should also use to fill in the 532 liters of diesel as well. Correct? I'm not saying 6 is the correct answer, I'm giving you an example to think. So basically you have to find out which is the factor of 399, which is the factor of 532, and find out all the common factors. Correct? This is the idea, but I don't think I can manually do this. Maybe if you have some formula to find out factors, you can start doing it. But when I look at the options given here, I find the options can go up to 6 different factors, right? So I don't think it's really worth the time to start spending time solving every different variations, every different capacity of bottle that can actually be used to fill in both petrol and diesel here. I feel it's not worth my time. I feel scared approaching this question. Right? So let me just ignore this question and move on to the next question. Wherever I feel it's not easy to work out, wherever I feel probably I would have required the knowledge of factors here to solve this question, let me just move on from that question. Okay, my objective is simply to stick on to basic maths alone, nothing more than that. But I look at question number 20. Consider the following statements in respect of a sum. Some random sum is x plus y plus z, where x, y and z are distinct prime numbers. Okay, they are distinct prime numbers and each less than 10, which makes my job easier. Okay, because you only have 2, 3, 5, 7. These are the only prime numbers that are less than 10. Fine. Now look at the possibilities. First statement says unit digit of s can be 0. Okay, you know what is unit digit? So if it's a 2-digit number, okay, x and y, if it's a 2-digit number, this digit is what is called unit digit, right? So the question says the unit digit of s can be 0, which means that when you add these three numbers, do you get the unit digit 0 or not? Let's just keep adding these numbers. So 2 plus 3 plus 5, how much do you get? Oh yes, you get 10. So unit digit can be 0. Okay, so first statement is right. Second, the unit digit of s can be 9. Is it even possible? 2 plus 5 plus 7. 7 plus 5 is 12, 13, 14. No, it's not working out. Even if you replace this 2 with 3, it's 15. Even that's not happening. But this is fine with statement number 3. Statement 3 says unit digit of s can be 5. Yes, it can be 5. So first statement is right, third statement is right. Okay, let's just try some other combination. Maybe 5 plus 3 plus 7, which we have already tried. So I think this second statement is not going to be true at all. You cannot get this answer. 10, 12, no, it's not. So only two statements are right. First and third is right. So option C is the right answer. Alright, very, very simple. Correct? You don't need any mathematical idea or formula. You only need to know what is unit digit, what is 10th digit. Alright, so if you see in this entire range of questions that you find here, question 16 is easy, question 18 is easy, question 20 is easy, right? So sometimes I feel maybe UPSC clubs all the difficult questions in one go and clubs all workable questions in one sequence. Maybe I may be wrong in the upcoming year. I'm just assuming, is it even possible? Let's find out in the other question papers of previous years as well as we solve them. Right? So if you see from question number 1 to 20, how many mathematical questions have I got right? I have got 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So 4 maths questions I was able to get them right. And how many reading comprehension questions are there out of these 20 questions? The first 4 questions are reading comprehension questions. What about question number 11 is a reading comprehension question, 12 is a reading comprehension, 13 and 14 are reading comprehension question, right? So there are 4 RC questions and the remaining, sorry, not 4, Yeah, 8 RC questions and 12 maths questions, right? I'll prove to you in the next video, out of these 8 RC questions, you can at least get 5 to 6 questions right. Okay, let's leave that aside. Let's only focus on the maths questions and see, out of 12 maths questions, I have actually got 4 questions right now. All these 4 are simple questions. I haven't used a permutation formula, combination, work done. See, if you are good with all those areas, it's an added point. If that is the case, if you feel that you're good with those areas, you should have cleared last year's CSAT paper. Then why did you not clear? Or maybe what if your assessment that you're being good with those areas is actually wrong? Maybe you may be able to solve some questions in your test series or in your coaching center. When you work out, you may be able to get them right. But on the day of the exam, if you're not able to deconstruct a problem and use the same logic, it means you're not good with it. The point of the session is not to simply say you're not good in so and so area. It's to say that even if you're not good in those areas, there are other areas where if you think and use some logic and imagination of the problem, you can actually get a lot more questions right. Correct? So let's keep going on. So the objective of the session is, I'll not be solving all the 80 till the 80th question. I'll solve till the 40th question, and till the 40th question, let's figure out how many such maths questions are there where you can easily solve them. And all you need to do is, if you have found out there are 10 to 11 questions easy among the first 40 questions, similarly in the next 40 also you have another 10 to 11 questions. So I would say 20 to 22 questions are very, very easy to solve. You don't need any formula. Please try to understand and get that confidence that CSAT is cracked without memorizing or any formula. You'll automatically make it through. Okay, let's move on. Let's look at the question paper. So till 20 we are done. 21, 22 is passage. 23, 24 is once again passage. Now moving to 23 is passage. So 24 is series question, right? See, sometimes these series questions are easy, sometimes they are very, very difficult. How much ever time you spend breaking your head over a series, you will not be able to figure it out. When I approach this question, 24th question, I was actually not able to figure out a logic, right? Maybe you may be able to do it, well and good, but I was not able to do that. I think I would have spent around 1.5 to 2 minutes on this, hoping that series is something where I can possibly get it right, but I was not able to figure out a logic. So let me just forget about the time wasted and move on to the next question. 25th. 2 persons P and Q enter into a business. P puts 14,000 more than Q, but P has invested for 8 months, Q has invested for 10 months. Okay, if P's share is 400 more than Q's share out of total profit of 2,000, what is the capital contributed by P? Seems to be a difficult question, because I don't understand why has this time being given. Why is the time that P has invested for 8 months, Q has invested for 10 months? I don't understand why is this even given, because the question, it's not clearly saying that whether the time contribution should also be factored in or not. Nothing. Seems to be very tricky, right? My instinct says it's better to avoid this and maybe circle it. We'll circle the question and we'll revisit it later, but let me not get into that as of now. Let me search for better questions. Okay, 26th question seems to be a better question. P's salary is 20% lower than Q. Q's salary is 20% lower than R. So if that is the case, then what percentage is R's salary more than P's salary? It's basic addition and subtraction, right? So let's get into this. Seems to be an easy question. So 26th question. P salary is 20% lower than Q's. Okay, now what I'll do is, I'll write it down. So Q's salary is 20% lower than R's. Okay, let's start with the imaginary number of 100, right? Question number 26 seems to be workable, right? So let's convert it all into numbers. Let's not work it in terms of abstract percentages. Let's assume that R's salary here, in this case, R is getting 100 rupees, because nothing is mentioned clearly. So 100. Q is getting 20% less than 100. Okay, which means Q's salary is 80 rupees. P is getting 20% less than that of Q's salary, which means that P is getting 16 rupees lesser than 80, which is 64 rupees. That's all we have done. P's salary is 64, R's salary is 100 rupees. The gap between the two is what? 36 rupees. They're asking, the question says, by what percentage is R's salary more than that of P's salary? So they're asking, this 36 rupees is how much percentage of 64 rupees? This is what is being asked. Okay, so can we say what is 50 percentage of 64, right? Can we say that R is getting 50 percentage of more salary than what P is getting? If that is the case, what is 50 percentage of P's salary? That is 32 rupees. So is R only getting 50 percentage more than P, which means is he getting only 96 rupees? No, R is getting 100 rupees, which means that P's salary is slightly more than 50 percentage. So can we say that R is getting 60 percentage of P's salary? If it's 60%, it simply means another 10 more percent, right? Another 10 more percent means basically 60%. 6 4s are 24, 6 6 are 36, 38, 38.4 plus 64, it goes beyond 100 rupees. So answer is somewhere between 50 to 60 percentage, and there's only one option here, which is 56.25. It's a very simple question. Okay, so we have got this question right. You don't need any max formula, you only need to visualize P 20% lesser than Q, Q 20% less than R. What is the gap between P's salary and R's salary, right? So imagine it and express it in terms of how much percentage more than P is R earning. Okay, the answer is simple, you have got it. So another great question we have solved. Okay, look at the next question, 27. A number is mistakenly divided by 4 instead of multiplying by 4. Now what is the percentage change in the result due to this mistake? Okay, again seems to be a very simple question, no clear number is given, so let's assume a number to be 100. This 100 is mistakenly divided by 4, so the answer you get is 25. But what you should have done, you should have multiplied it by 4 so as to get an answer of 400. Right? The question what they are asking, what is the percentage change in the result due to this mistake? They are asking what is the percentage difference between these two numbers. Right? So 400 minus 25 is 375. Okay, so 375 is how much percentage of 400? That's the idea. So 400 into 100. Okay, so 4 9s are 36, 4 3s are 12, 93 point something. So the answer is 93.75. Okay, so basically because of this mistake, what has happened? You have reduced the correct answer by 93 point some percentage. Right? It's a simple question. Okay, only subtraction and division knowledge is required. So 27 is easy. But what is required here is the ability to visualize what is actually happening here. And if you work with a calm mind, you will actually get it right. Not so difficult at all. But if you start getting stressed, and why would you start getting stressed? If you are not able to get the first 4 RC questions perfectly right, if you are not able to get the question number 11 to 14 RC questions right, if you are not able to get 21, 22, 23, these are also RC questions, if you are not able to get them right, you will start trembling. And with that trembling, you cannot correctly see and visualize and deconstruct this particular question. Alright. So, yeah, so basically question number 26 easy, 27 easy. I would say that these two questions can be solved in 2 to 3 minutes. Okay, imagine how much of time you now save so as to spend it maybe for reading comprehension, or you may be probably be spending it on other mathematical questions. Okay, now look at the next question. Again, this you see the clustering of question 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, all of these are easy. It again makes me wonder if all the easy questions get clustered together or not. If you can get 2 questions right, possibly think whether all the other questions may also be easy. Okay, so next question number 28. In an examination, 80% of the students passed in English, 70% passed in Hindi, 15% failed in both the subjects. What is the percentage of students who failed in only one subject? Again, let's create a base number of 100. Okay, you see, for all these questions, since the absolute number is not given, I am making an imagination, because it's all about a percentage of the total set. The total set could be anything. It could be 100 students, 200 students. For ease of mathematics, I am keeping it as 100. Okay, let's say out of 100 students, 80% have passed in English, which means that 20% have failed in English, right? Out of 100, 70% of students passed in Hindi, which means that in Hindi, 30% of the students have failed, which means 20 students have failed in English, 30 students have failed in Hindi, right? And one more statement is given, 15% failed in both the subjects, which means 15 students have failed in both English and Hindi. So out of these 20, the 15 students, right, they have failed in both English and Hindi. So which means the students who have failed only in English is just 5. The students who have failed only in Hindi is 15. Right, so that's the question. What is the percentage of students who failed in only one subject? So here there are 5 students, here there are 15 students. So a total of 20 students have failed only in one subject. And 20 students out of 100 is what? 20%. That's all, simple. 28 answer is option B. So we have got the right answer. No complex maths. Right. Look at question number 29. A father said to his son. See, when you have these kind of statement based questions, no, it may appear to be like slightly tricky. Try to convert that into some form of an equation, right? And then start using the other clues that are given in the question. A father said to his son, N years back I was as old as you are as of now. Okay, my present age is 4 times your age N years back. All that seems to be a little difficult. Now comes the easy part. If the sum of the present ages of father and the son is 130 years, okay, let's say sum, x is the age of the father, y is the age of the son, x plus y is 130, and what is the difference of their ages? They are asking what is x minus y, and there are 4 options given. Let's use the options, start from options in certain questions. If you feel the remaining part of the question is slightly tricky, once you start working with the question, you may be able to figure out some ways. Right, so look at the options given. There are only 4 options given. Let's try to apply it. The question says the sum of their ages at present is 130. So it means father could be 100 years old, son could be 30 years old, or father could be 90 years, son could be 40. Any kind of combination is possible. So we cannot arrive at a concrete answer. And with the other clues and everything, you are supposed to find out what is x and y. Let's assume you're not able to visualize and think of other clues. Let's look at the options given. What is the difference of their ages? So let's assume that the difference of ages is the first option, right? Let's go by this first logic. It's 30. Okay, so 2x is equal to 160. So x is equal to 80, which means y is equal to 50, right? Let's assume this is one possibility. Okay, let's assume the age of the father at present is 80, age of the son at present is 50. We have got one combination. Now let's go back to the question and see. A father said to his son, N years back I was as old as you are now. Okay, so a few n years, we don't know what is that n. Maybe from the answers that we have got, let's try to think if how many years. So look at the difference between the two. 80 minus 50 is 30, which means that n could be 30. So father is saying 30 years back I was as old as you are right now, which is actually perfectly right. Okay, so let's assume this is condition number 1. It gets solved. My present age is 4 times your age n years back. Okay, so his father's present age is 80. He is saying it is 4 times your age n years, 30 years back, right? The son's age as of now is 50. 30 years back, how old he would have been? 20 years. So don't you think 80 is 4 times that of 20? So which means this combination is fitting in all the criteria. I have already got the answer. 30 years is right. So, okay, so if you're not able to proceed in a forward direction from the question, make use of the options and proceed in a backward direction, and then try to figure out from the option given. Okay, if only all these criteria would not have satisfied by 30 years, which is the first option, I would have gone with 32, then 34, then 36. Somewhere out of the 4 I would have got the answer right. Correct. So don't approach strictly in a forward manner. As soon as you see a question like this, don't try to write it. Okay, a father said to his son, n years back he is 4 times that of x. So when you try to write down all in this particular manner, you may feel very underconfident. You may feel that how am I to break this complexity, right? So just keep reading the entire question. There could be some clues lying as you go further and further traveling with the question. Okay, in the first sentence I was not able to get the right answer. My present age is 4 times your age n years back. I am able to visualize maybe the son is it could be anything. He could be 20 years, father could be 80. Any combination is possible. So I am not able to concretely make a fixed statement, right? But then I come to easy part. If the sum of the present ages, so now I am able to get some clues. Sum is x be the present age of father, y be the present age of son. It's 130. After all, the question was asking what is the difference between the present ages. This is the question, right? Now I am directly apply 30 first, then 32 first, then try to do whatever I have done right now. I mean I'll be able to figure out the right answer. Okay, so it's an easy question. So you see 26 is easy, 27 is easy, 28 is easy, 29 is easy. 30 for me it was difficult because I could understand, I could only figure out the first and second options as right. Third, I was not very sure. I was not sure about what is the size of a hectare, and in terms of meters I was not at all confident. Alright, so I would simply skip question number 30. So let's have a reality check as of now. How many questions have we got it right? So 26, 27, 28, 29. So 4 questions here, right? And how many questions up to here? So 4 questions till here. So 4 plus 4, 8 mathematical questions. Without any serious struggle, I was able to get answers for them. All right. Now we'll move on to further questions beyond the 30th question. (31) is reading comprehension. 32, 33 is also reading comprehension. 34 is reading comprehension. Okay, so 35, let x be a 2-digit number and y be another 2-digit number formed by interchanging the digits of x. Okay, if x plus y is the greatest 2-digit number, okay, then what is the number of possible values of x? So this is the question we have, number of possible values of x. Okay, so let x be a 2-digit number. So okay, 2-digit number, y be another 2-digit number formed by, after all, you're just interchanging. Okay, you're just interchanging x and y. Okay, you're getting, it could be 23, you get 32, right? Anything is possible, any kind of such combinations are possible. But then comes the next clue. If x plus y is the greatest 2-digit number, which means it's 99, so the sum of x and y, it's going to be 99. Then what is the number of possible values of x? Okay, so it means that x can have 2 values or 4 values or 6 values or 8 values, anything is possible. All right, so I can say that it could be, you have to interchange the numbers. Okay, so it feels a little complex. I don't think I'll be able to proceed any further. Okay, so let's say my mind is not working, I'll just put it on hold. Let me move on to other questions. Okay, so the very next question number 36, this seems to be easier. I'll tell you why. Weight of 6 boys is equal to weight of 7 girls is equal to weight of 3 men is equal to weight of 4 women. So let's say 6x, let's say the weight of boys 6, and each boys, it's not saying all the boys are the same weight. Okay, if all the boys are the same weight, you can simply say x is the weight of one boy and we multiply by 6. But here it says weight of 6 boys. So boy 1 plus boy 2 plus boy 3 up to boy 6. This is equal to girl 1 plus girl 2 plus up to girl 7, which is equal to man 1 plus man 2 plus man 3, a sum of their weights, which is equal to weight of 4 women, women 1 plus women 2 plus women 3 plus women 4, right? So this is the equation given in the question, right? I've just simply imagined how it is to be imagined. All right, now we get the second clue. If the average weight of the women is 63 kg, wow, now we get a clue here. Average weight of the women, which means W1 plus W2 plus W3 plus W4 divided by 4 is equal to 63, which means that W1 plus W2 plus W3 plus W4 is equal to 63 into 4, which is 4 3s are 12, 24, 252. All right, they're asking, and this is equal to the weight of all these 3 men, which is equal to the weight of 7 girls, which is equal to weight of 6 boys. Everything, there is a perfect relationship, right? So they're asking, what is the average weight of the boys? How many boys do we have? We have 6 boys, which is equal to a total weight of them is same, right? We have already figured out what is the total weight. It's 252. So what is going to be the average weight of the boys? 252 by 6. 6 4s are 24, 42. Well, we got the answer. You see, so easy. You only need to establish this connection between all their weights. That's clearly given in the question. Weight of 6 boys is equal to weight of 7 girls. And your mind should simply work that why should I, instead of writing this equation like this, you would have made a mistake if you would have started writing it like 6 boys is equal to 7 girls is equal to 3 men is equal to 4 women, right? You cannot write it like this. Okay, it's because not all women's weights are the same. You only need to know that the sum of all the women, one woman could be 30 kgs, other could be 40, other could be 50, but if you actually add up all their weights, that is equal to the sum of all the weights of all the men. So you should visualize it the way I have done it while I solved it. If only you can visualize it like that, it's very easy question, it's not at all difficult. So question number 36 is easy. So 35, my mind was not able to work, I was not able to get the logic as to how to proceed further, but 36 I am able to figure out. Okay, so I am happy with that, and let me just move on. So 37, how many times the hour hand and the minute hand coincide in a clock between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. See, I'll tell you something, in the clock type of questions, I always feel I have a weakness with respect to figuring out those angles. Okay, that requires you to have idea about what is the angle between each and every number and all of that. Okay, so whenever there is a question with respect to angles between the minute hand and the hour hand, I would probably leave that question unattempted, which is question number 40 here. You see, what is the angle between the minute hand and the hour hand when the clock shows 4:25? What is this angle? I am always scared that I may go wrong. I'll probably leave this question unattempted, but this is also easy only. So if you can get it right, all the best, get it right. But the question number 37 is easy kind of clock questions, right? Just visualize how many times the hour hand and the minute hand coincide in a clock between 10 a.m. Okay, so this is 10 a.m. or maybe this is 11. So this is 10 a.m. right? Now the clock is at 10 a.m. and at 2 p.m. this is how the clock is at 2 p.m. So in this 4 hours gap, how many times does the hour hand and the minute hand coincide? Let me think. So now the time is 10, right? It's 10 a.m. So the minute hand keeps rotating, and where does it coincide with the hour hand? Probably as it approaches 11 o'clock, right? So between 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. there is once when the hour and the minute hand coincides. Now think about 11 a.m. This is 11 a.m. Now the minute hand rotates, and when does it coincide? It exactly coincides at 12, right? So between 11 to 12 there is another one more instance of coincidence, right? Now starting from 12, the minute hand rotates, it reaches 12 again, but by then the hour hand would have gone beyond 12, it would have gone to 1 o'clock, which means that there is no coincidence between 12 to 1, right? But after 1 o'clock, now the minute hand starts moving and it catches up with the hour hand, right? So 1 to 2 there is one more instance of coincidence, that's all. So one coincidence between 10 to 11, another coincidence between 11 to 12, another coincidence between 1 to 2. So there are 3 occasions when this coincidence happens. Easy. So question number 37, you have to just draw this diagram on the day of your exam and start thinking. Don't hesitate to spend time on all this diagrammatic representation. It can actually make your job easier. Alright, and question number 38, I'm not very confident. When it comes to calendars, my mind doesn't work. Just skip it. Okay, question number 39 is actually easy. It may be framed in such a way that it may be very scary for you. Okay, so let's look at the question. Let P, Q, R and S be distinct positive numbers. Okay, P and Q be odd, R and S be even. So whenever questions are given like this, immediately give a number to that. So P and Q are odd numbers. Okay, so let's say 3 and 5. P is 3, Q is 5. R and S are even numbers. Let's say R is 2, S is 4, right? So we have imagined. Now let's apply these numbers into all the 3 statements. First statements, P minus R. So P is 3, R is 2. So 1 square into Q into S. Q into S is 5 4s are 20, which is 20, which is even number. So statement 1 is right. Now looking at statement number 2, Q minus S. Q minus S is 5 minus 4, which is 1, into Q square. Q square is 5 square, into S is 4, which means 25 into 4, which is 100. So Q square, so the second statement is also right, it's also even number. Coming to third statement, q plus r, where is q? Q is 5, r is 2, so 7 square into p plus s, 3 plus 4, 7, so 49 into 7, 9 7s are 63, 6 4 7 4 28, 343 is odd. Third statement is also right. So 1 2 3, so 1 2 3 are correct. So simple, right? No complex mathematical ideas. You only need to know multiplication, addition, subtraction, odd, even numbers. All right, so I would say I have got 37 right, 39 right. Okay, 40 I cannot get it right, 38 I don't think my mind can work. So I have got 2 questions right here. So up to 40th question, how many maths questions have I got right? 2 here and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 4, 11. Okay, so you can understand that there are 11 questions I have got right in the first 40 questions. Similarly, in the next 40 questions, similar kind of easy questions are there. Another 11 more questions are there, minimum. Okay, so that's why I have the strong belief that you can get at least 20 to 22 questions from the maths part right by not applying any complex ideas. And if you still are not able to get it right, understand it's because you have been forced to believe, you have been taught to believe that CSAT is cracked by working problem after problem after problem. Don't be putting in such mindless effort and labor in hoping that more and more problems you solve, more and more is your chances of getting it right on the day of the exam. That's not how CSAT works. CSAT works more by strategizing. CSAT works by understanding where it is possible to get marks, where it is not possible to get marks. I would even say that stop even solving questions from R.S. Agarwal and all those aptitude books, but instead take last 10 years of previous year's question of CSAT paper, approach it in such a way that you are able to figure out all the attemptable questions. Okay, just build that confidence that you are able to get the 20 to 22 questions every year correct. Just getting these 20-22 questions, it will give you a lot of peace of mind. You will be assured that any kind of question paper I will be able to get 20 to 22 questions right. You know, once you build that competence, so just imagine if you can only get 20 to 22 questions right, how much marks does it translate to? 2.5 marks. Just 50 marks easily you can get only from these maths parts. Right? It's not an exaggeration. It is very much doable. I don't see any reason why you should get less than 80 or 90 marks in CSAT. Alright. So if you have been watching this video till this point, I'll give you an exercise. The exercise is, I have solved up to the 40th question. Your assignment is go and see 2024 CSAT paper from 40 to 80th question. What all questions in series A question paper you find are easily solvable like this, right? So just write it down in that comment box. Alright, so that's all for this is the point I want to tell you. I am also not very good with mathematics. Okay, you give me a random combination or permutation question, I'll never be able to solve it right at all. But that is not something that I'm ever worried about. Right? So that's why I really believe what I have mentioned in the very first slide. You don't need to know permutation, ratio, work done, factorial, series. And if you're still just forcing yourself to practice and master all that, you are doing it wrong. Because the question on the day of the exam can slightly be twisted and you will go crazy. You will not be able to figure out and deconstruct the problem and figure out what the exact logic required is. So all your time that you have spent is all gone waste. Alright, that's why I understand what is going to help you, what cannot be mastered, and with that awareness is what comes clarity. It is with that clarity now you can assure yourself of a constant performance in every CSAT paper. And when you start enjoying that, when you start experiencing this constant stability of your performance, you will really fall in love with this problem solving process. You will no longer approach CSAT as something that you are scared of. Instead, you will approach CSAT as something that you look forward to, because it's going to be thrilling for you, figuring out what can I solve, what can I not solve. Alright, so on the day of your examination, when you start working out, right, let's say the first 10 questions, even if you do not know a single maths questions in the first 10 questions, don't be worried. If you look at the 2024 question, you see the first mathematics question that I was able to get right was only the 10th question. So 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, I had no idea, but I was not at all concerned about it. I was just able to move on, and so should you. There will be easy questions upcoming. Don't be worried that a few questions you're not able to solve. Right? Always maintain that stability, that there is better questions around the corner. Right? So if you do that, definitely 20 to 22 questions, you will be able to solve them, right? Without any complex maths knowledge. You only need to be patient, think coolly, try to understand what the question is expecting out of you. Right? So I hope it was useful to all of you, and in the next video I'll be discussing about the strategy for reading comprehension based questions. Right? Just like how you can get 20-22 questions maths right, you can definitely get 15 questions at least reading comprehension questions correct, and there is a method to do that. So we'll meet in the next class and discuss what that particular method is. All right. So thank you.